Come one, come all.
Lord,
To the valley.
I feel like I need one of those little like fans that like open up and you clip them. I used to have so many of those when I was a little girl. It was so awesome.
You had those like fans from the back in the day.
Yeah.
Where you would.
Oh.
Sir.
Yeah, kind of something like that. I don't know if I did that, but yeah.
They're the Chinese fans, right? The ones that you.
Well, I don't know that they're Chinese, but they're something.
The ones I always saw were that had like Chinese writing in them. Oh.
It could be like an Asian writing. I don't know that they're Chinese, but yes.
And if you're tuning in, this is No Business Like Show Business. We are your hosts. My name is Preston.
And I'm Nadia.
And every week we dive into the entertainment industry, the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, and everything in between.
Yeah, man. The hot, the cold. Yep.
We're hoping that it goes cold at least sometime soon.
Well, or hot.
You guys, it's about 112 in the valley.
It feels like 112. It's like awful.
It's so hot that my son and I, Nadia, you had an audition today that you went and taped.
Yeah, I did.
And my son and I literally stayed in our bedroom in front of the air conditioner on our bed because out here is like a sauna.
It's just nuts. It's so crazy.
So if you're interested in getting your sweat on, come on over.
Yeah, it's like a sauna, you guys. We'll just throw some red lights out, like an infrared sauna.
Just don't be sweating everywhere because that's gross. That's the worst part of the gym. You walk around nude bodies and sweat everywhere.
What gym are you going to that there's nude bodies everywhere?
Literally, the dudes are so interesting.
But that's in the gym. That's inside of the thing.
Yeah, in the locker room. Like you walk around and it's like, I don't know if that's water from someone taking a shower or just sweat.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's very gross.
No, thank you. Bye.
I wear flip-flops.
Yeah, because you can get athlete's foot otherwise.
That's right.
Or feet, whatever.
And you do not want athlete's foot. That stuff's gross.
Nope.
Nah, this was
How
a nuts
random.
week. This was
what's crazy is that we're saying this is a nuts week, but it's like Monday, so it's a new week. But last week wasn't. Last week was nuts.
You're right. My bad. Last week was insane.
Yeah.
Do you want to start it off? Why was it insane?
I don't even know. It feels like a whirlwind. Well, first of all, it's juggling. We think we've kind of talked about this before. It's either like super slow or it's super busy. And I think it's one of those weeks where we had so many auditions. Mm-hmm. We had to bring Judah. We would have auditions like on two separate parts of the city.
Literally.
And we have one car. And we would have to try to like make each other's auditions. So it's like family audition for those of you who caught our family audition on our Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
It's up there if you haven't checked it out. Mm-hmm. We taped.
We did a live.
Yeah, that's what it is. Live streamed family audition.
It was our commute from our house to Santa Monica. And it's riveting. If you haven't seen it yet, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. The 405. I mean, our commentary on it.
Our commentary. Just hop online to facebook.com and look for No Be Like Showbie, and you'll find it. Until we pull it down. We're pulling it down for a little special treat.
Oh, well, then get on it. I don't know what you're waiting for, y'all. So, yeah. So, basically, it was just a really busy week. And
yeah.
You know, it's in Preston shot a short film.
I did. I think I talked about it in the intro of last episode, but an exciting weekend for me. Shot a really cool short film by a director out of the New York Film Academy. And it's really exciting. We did all weekend straight through. We did a night shoot last night. So I literally was up from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. this morning. And it was crazy. Oh, and this shoot was nuts. Okay, so it was basically 3 shoot days separated by almost 4 days. And every day something crazy happened. I don't know if I told you this because I was too tired. But the day one, there was across the street, we had this house that was in 1904. Right?
Oh, right. That's
Built
right in San Pedro, right?
San Pedro. It was a beautiful house. The dude only rents it for filmmaking. Well, we're in this house. Across the street, it's in this like really interesting neighborhood. Like literally stacks of homes on top of each other and hundreds of people in one place. It's crazy. But anyways, there was a giant tree across the street and a huge raccoon brawl happened. Literally the weirdest raccoon sound.
It's a raccoon posse.
A raccoon posse got into a giant fight, and it was like rah, rah, and like we're trying to shoot, so we're trying to the sound is important at this particular shot. We're outside of the house, so we can hear and see everything. And the whole neighborhood's like, "What's that?" And they're all standing around looking at the raccoons. And then the old lady from the house with the tree runs out with her she had a what is it? A sprayer, a hose. She runs out with a hose that had like a little gun on it, and she's like, Psh.
Oh Lord, my mom would have been like, "Get away from there! You're gonna get rabies. You're gonna get rabies." I'm like, okay.
Hey, she might have had rabies. She was crazy, but she had a system. Like she knew raccoons are here, time to get the hose. And so we watched it all unfold.
There's like badass kids in the tree. Like she's treating them like they're just some badass kids in the neighborhood.
Literally
She's like, "Get out of here."
Yeah. She's like, "What are y'all doing? Not again."
Oh my gosh.
And then one of her cats like ran up and she got scared, and it was wild. Like it sounds interesting, but it was crazy.
Okay, so you had raccoons on the first day.
So that happened day 1. Day 2, we show up and there's this huge fight between either a boyfriend and a girlfriend or a husband and a wife, like yelling, "You are the word," la, 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 on the street, right? Fast forward, we go to the back of the house where we're taking a break, and we're all upstairs, and we're just chatting. And there's a house. Remember how I said the houses were stacked onto each other? Right behind this house that we were shooting in was like an apartment complex, and a huge window slides open, slams open. It's like, doosh. And then all these clothes start getting tossed out of the like literally clothes after clothes. And I'm like, oh no. And come to find out, it was that same couple in like this epic battle.
They were having
of
their
love.
own cinematic dramatic episode.
They were. We should have just tuned the cameras to it. And
That's
then
funny.
Increased the
That's something I
production
probably
value.
would have done.
Yeah. Hey, not with me, baby.
A long time ago. I think I have done that. Don't make me mad.
So that's night number 2, and then the overnight, multiple things happened. So first, the location was a pretty cool like grocery store area.
Convenience store.
Across the street was a vigil because sadly, this is actually really sad. A kid died on a Vespa like 3 days before, and there was this huge crowd of people. And where they were, I mean, I'm glad that they were doing it. But what's funny is where they were was where we were supposed to be getting the first shot. So we had to figure out how to shoot.
How do you tell them, "Hey, I know that you're honoring the deceased, but we're shooting a film. So yeah.
Rightly so, they didn't tell them anything.
Of course, sorry.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
And so we shot from a little further behind. It ended up working out great. But that was happening.
That's crazy.
And then we go around the back of the store where we were waiting for our different shots to come in. And there was this huge standoff between the police and some dude that was holding himself hostage in his home with a gun.
Awesome.
A block from where we were. So literally, my favorite thing that Nadia calls police helicopters are ghetto birds because they're always flying.
The ghetto bird popos.
And so these helicopters were flying for literally 3.5 hours.
How did you guys shoot anything?
Fortunately, I mean, they had this lapelled up, we had lapel mics, and then they had the boom mic too, and they were inside shooting. We weren't outside shooting.
Okay.
But it was really crazy. It was so consistent.
It's so nuts when you think about it. It's like you are in the middle of a city, but that has a lot of like things being filmed throughout the city, but yet life is still going on. And did you know that there was a fire? It was sushi Tokyo. I think it's called Tokyo Delve is what it was.
Is that what it was?
It's a huge sushi like karaoke bar off of Lankershim and like 5 other stores. Joe's Coffee got burned down.
What?
Yeah, Joe's Coffee, some like theater, that sushi place, and like 2 other places. It's like 5. They're thinking that it might be arson or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
It's just crazy when you think of...
That's the punchline to my story, baby. You took it away from me. I was leading up to the fire.
Oops. My bad.
I was leading you guys to its story.
Hey, so...
No, but that's how it ended. So that happened, and then the last thing that happened, we were doing a take, and there's smoke filling the space, and we're thinking it's our equipment, right? Everyone's like, is there a light that's burning something? And we run outside, and there's 4 helicopters, not police helicopters, all news cameras. So I was like, oh, no. There must be something major happening. Sure enough, it was the fire. And then at the time, it was too early for you to be awake but the fire was in the direction of our house. And I was like, I don't know if Nod and Judah are safe. And then I saw that it was on Lancashire. But
then you're like, okay, they're safe.
It's just crazy shoot.
It's just crazy to think. I don't know. That sounds like it's a movie in and of itself.
It was.
But yeah, so you shot that, which was
great.
Shot
that. It was a really cool experience. I can't wait to share it with you guys. If you're in the LA area, they're going to be premiering it in September. It's a short. And it was a really fun process. The director was really collaborative and extremely interested in the actors coming up with their, points of views based on their characters. And he was open to ideas. And it was a really cool experience because before every take or before major takes, we would circle up and kind of go through the psyche of what the character would be thinking in that moment. Before action, what's happening, what are they feeling, what's happened before, because we shot so many things out of sequence that... Which
is usually how it goes. Yeah. For those of you that have worked, that's how it goes. But for those of you that, don't know how that works, you're watching a movie, it's not mostly ever shot like from beginning to end.
Rarely,
it's like everything is shot out of order. You can go from like a hilarious scene to like the next scene being like a totally dramatic scene, or just like, just a lot of different changes can happen. It's just completely out of order. So you have to know as your character and the job that you're doing as an actor, you have to know what these transitions are. And the truth is, even, it's really generous of that director to have those conversations, because a lot of directors sometimes don't work like that. They are more about technical and how it looks versus the process of the actor. But I think it's really cool if you have that. If you have that kind of an input from somebody that is that hands-on and collaborative.
I totally agree. And what was also really cool is the whole crew was extremely quick. Like, also, if you're in the biz, you know that a lot of the job of the actor is hurry up and wait. You get to set, and they take, an hour and a half, 2 hours to set up the one shot where you, like, walk in with the keys, and then you're done, and then they take an hour to an hour and a half to set up the next shot.
It's crazy. I've been on set where I've needed to be there at 6 a.m, like, drove an hour, 6 a.m, and they don't even... Like, you get there, they rush you to hair and makeup, they rush you to wardrobe, and then you literally sit there, and sometimes you'll sit there, and then it's like lunch, and they haven't even seen you yet. And it's like, okay.
And that's, that's a part of it. It's one of those things where...
It's part of movie magic.
It's the movie magic of it all. You're watching it, and you're like, wow, it all looks cohesive. But you can show up day one and be doing the most difficult acting part, like a character breakdown or a fight or a... the pinnacle of the comedy. That can be scene one, and you haven't even really worked with your other actors.
And sometimes you might not have another actor in front of you.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
So you're literally acting to a stand-in.
Yeah.
That is standing in front of you. That's not giving you anything. So, that's when you think about it, our job is kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. I was having a talk with the other dude who's in it, and we were... just kind of going over the shoot and discussing how funny it is that it's like 4 a.m. We're in a random convenience store in North Hollywood. All the things that are happening in life around us, and we're pretending. You know what I mean? We're like just like, and everyone's working really hard. Like the crew worked so hard, and they were so fast and good. And the director of photography, the DP, was amazing. He had such an eye. And we're like watching all this like art happen, and then we stepped back for a second and thought, it's crazy that we're doing this. It's crazy that it's on a weekend, that no one's getting sleep, everyone's working really hard to pretend like something's happening, And it's just so funny if you think of it like that. But then we also were talking about story and how like that's like the longest tradition,
Oh yeah. Like that's even how like they teach sometimes through stories,
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because it reminds me of the first time I ever did a student film or like a short. And I was studying at Howard Fine's acting studio in Hollywood, and I had a teacher there who was really great. And when I first started out, she was always so encouraging and kind of would bring me to the side and tell me like, hey, you have so much potential. Like, I really want to, like, she was kind of pouring into me. And she taught at LA Film School as well.
Oh, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she taught directing at LA Film School. And she was like, hey, so there's this movie that they're going to be shooting for one of my students' his master like thesis.
Yeah.
And I would like for you to come audition for it. So I was like, okay. But, you know, so I go all the way to LA Film School and I got the part. And it was just so funny because...
Which one was that? Was that the scary
Psycho one?
Yes.
Oh, my God. It was so bad.
Yes.
It was so bad.
We have that one.
Yeah, no. It was the word. It was so bad. My acting was just like, I'm like, really? You like literally think I have potential? Like, I don't know what. Like, seeing that video is just like really bad acting. And so, I can make fun of it now. But it was funny because the guy in it was like the guy that I was stalking, basically. I mean, it was so bad. Now that I think about it, I had this scene where I had to like do like a chokehold on this girl. I'll be like, I gotta choke this bitch out. But like literally had to like wore like a ski mask over my head, like a hoodie, and then I had to like I actually don't remember if I had to grab like basically did my own stunts.
Yes.
Speaking of stunts. And and then it just looked so bad because it was just like a lot of muffling, and I was like, you can't have him. Yes. You can't. It was so bad. But anyway, the dude that I was playing opposite, he apparently has been acting for such a long time. He was not good. Sorry.
And that's what he told you.
And I'm not. That's why. No. Wait, what?
Baby, what if he listens to this?
Baby, we didn't even say what the name of the movie was. I didn't title it.
Yes, he did.
No, I didn't. I said I played a psycho. That's what I said. That's what I said. So anyway, if you're out there, I should have told you this like 10 years ago, but I didn't. But he was the worst because he would be like, I need you to do this so that I can do this. And I'm like, bitch, you didn't take an acting class? Like, I get what he's trying to do, but like also like I just felt like that was crazy that you're like, I need you to do this so that I can get there.
Yeah.
No, fool. That's your job.
Right.
Like, that's your job. My character is completely different than yours. Like, it was crazy. It seemed like he was like, I mean, I didn't think I was great in that movie, but he seemed even worse. And I was just like, all right.
I just had an awesome idea.
What? For
everyone who's listening and excited to see this, what if we put that as a perk for Patreon?
I actually was going to say that. That would have to be like a $10 a month thing.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't getting that for $2 a month. Sorry about it.
You know what? We're going to figure it out. But if you swipe up in the show notes and iTunes, you just swipe up and then there's links there for you. And if you decide to be a Patreon member, we're going to put up Nadia's first stuff and we'll put up my first stuff.
Oh my gosh. That stuff was hilarious.
That would be so fun.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that would be entertaining to say the least, guys. But whatever. So anyways, it was just the whole process of like, you know, shorts. But you know what? You got to commend these people going to film school, and you know, they have a body of work. I mean, and who knows? Like, some people, I don't even know what that guy's doing now. The director that directed the film. But I know that your dude's excited and possibly wanting to like get into some film festivals.
Yes,
and he's going back to New York, and
yeah, he's from New York and did the first half of the program there. I think that's how that school can work. You can leverage the two schools, from what he was telling me. But I was just really impressed by everyone who came through that school. Everyone was really professional, like really quick. Like I said, the setup was crazy. We were always working, which was cool, because sometimes there's a lot of downtime on set, but we were like,
you know, what's cool is what I loved for you was that we do a lot of our own content, right?
Yes.
And when you're doing your own content and you're creating, you know, you can hire people, but when you want a budget, you kind of got to be resourceful with what you're doing, or, you know, ask favors, but you don't want to ask for too many favors because then you're annoying. But it was cool that you showed up and your only job was to act.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Like, you didn't have to set up the light and make sure that the sound and make sure that, like you do for the show. And hold on, Mama.
No, totally. Nadia's getting our dog. If you're on YouTube, you'll see her.
Sorry, y'all. It sounded like there was some kind of like a what
Gunshot?
sounded like a gunshot or a firework, and she does not like fireworks.
Hey, we're in North Hollywood. Things happen.
Yeah.
But you're right. It was a really cool break from wearing all the other hats. It was very nice to really just focus in on the character and what I was there to do.
I loved that for you.
And it was really calming, you know, and when all the craziness was happening, I was like, this is cool that like, and that's what I love about film is if everyone's doing their job as well as they can perform it, then it's a beautiful collaboration. It's a cool thing to see it all come together when like the you know, the PA is like running the, you know, making sure that the snack table is moved out of the shot and like it's to where everything moves smoothly and people are, you know, setting up the lights exactly where they should hit. And, you know, the...
Sorry, that was a bug.
You okay?
Yeah, I can't deal with bugs.
We have a fly swatter. For those of you just listening, Nadia killed a bug.
I smacked a bug. Sorry.
Nadia 1,
bug
I
0. Can't. I get like grossed out.
That's okay, baby.
And then now it's on my hand, so that's even better.
Ooh.
Sure, whatever.
Yum.
But anyway, you were saying?
I think just boiling it down to that's why I love film. It's a really cool thing that artists can get together and perform different functions, but they all serves the film. And then at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You know, like I did this thing for MTV once. I don't know if I told you. I was just a PA running the walkies for MTV.
I think you might have told me this. And
literally my job was to make sure that everyone who was someone on set had a walkie that was working. Had a battery, was working.
How'd you get that job?
I don't even know now that I think about it. I was going to school, I was going to college and
wait, was this in LA?
No, this was in Alabama. This was they did MTV's Making the Band. Do you remember that?
Of course.
And so they took the tour around to the different states where they would do the auditions. And so on the Alabama audition, I was running the walkie-talkies. So
did you ever want to be like, can I audition to be in the band?
Yeah, I did. And then I stepped outside and I saw the line was like 12 people long. They didn't advertise it.
12 people?
It was like 12 people long.
So you couldn't get in that line?
No, but once I saw that, like the hype of the show was like,
Oh, I was like, you couldn't get in that line?
I was like, oh, that's why that show's no longer on air, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
It was not appealing, but all that to say that I took that job very seriously. I was like, these walkie-talkies are going to be charged. The people are going to get them. At the end of the day, I'm going to be able to check off a list that I got every single one. And not knowing it then because I was just getting started, but that's an important piece of filmmaking that no one thinks about is the organization of what happens on the set in order for the movie to kind of come to life it's really beyond me. So if you're out there and you perform these functions regularly and that's your job is the unsung heroes. They call it below the line in the industry. But if you're out there and you're doing that, thank you. We see you. I know Nadia and I see you, especially whenever we like when we're doing our own stuff, we have to perform those functions.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
It's really hard.
I'm sweating in my clothes right now from just setting up the lights. So.
I'm just sweating from being hot.
That's just because you're born hot, baby.
Okay.
Ow, ow. And you had a good week too. You had an awesome audition that just happened.
Oh yeah. I had to put myself on tape. So, I currently do not have a theatrical agent or a manager. And so I'm kind of trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to go pursue one or what. I'm just kind of trying to like figure out what the next step is. But I have been submitting myself on what's called Actors Access. It's, it's a database that actors have limited access to breakdowns of certain projects. And we've talked about it before here. So I just kind of, I check it every once in a while. I really don't check it a ton. And when I do, there's not always a ton of great stuff. you'd be surprised some of this stuff. I'm like, how is this even getting made? But whatever. But there was a project in particular. So I submitted and they requested an audition and they wanted a self-tape for basically a pre-read for an audition. And it seemed like a really fun character. And
it does.
I had a friend of mine named Kaz record it, which I'm hoping will be able to get on as a guest for a future episode. So we can hear about just her and her as an actress and her in the work that she's doing in her business and stuff. She does a lot of coaching and self-tapes and stuff like that, commercial classes and stuff, which she's like so great. So, yeah, I got to do that. And it was funny because it's the first audition that I've done, like, well, theatrically. So for like, you know, TV or film, something that's not commercials that I've had to self-tape.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I'm going to be rusty because mama hasn't had, you know, there's just, it's a different type of an audition. And so I actually felt better than I thought. I thought, you know, I think the preparation that I took the time to prepare felt solid. And, you know, it was with Kaz's help, it just kind of came together.
That's awesome.
Except for my hair. My hair did not come together.
You never think about all the pieces.
It's just so hot, you guys. It's like I look like a furry Chewbacca. Like I went in there, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna throw some pomade in my hair so it can look like.
If
defined.
you look like Chewbacca is a 10.
Okay, but but yeah, thanks, babe.
Of course.
But it's so funny because I watched the video back and I'm like, is that what my hair looks like?
And then my husband tried to she asked me the really awkward question of, first she goes, okay, we're going to replay this because I want you guys to know what it's like on the other end of this. If you're a lady out there asking your man questions. So,
whatever.
So I watched the video. Nadia was putting her son down. And
what I said was, hey, can you watch the video? Yes. Because honestly, I want you to watch it first because if I look awful or it was awful, I want you to tell me before I even watch it.
So that she doesn't
I know,
have to
guys, don't
herself.
listen. Okay, I'm just being vulnerable here.
That's what she said. And then so I watch it and I'm like, wow, this is really great. And then she comes out and I pick the take that I liked and I'm like, hey, I like this take and this take. And so she watches it and she goes, the first statement, my hair looks terrible. She watches it, we figure out the take, and then she goes, does my hair look that bad? And I'm looking at the screen and looking at her, and I'm looking at the screen, and the only thought going through my mind is it's a camera. It's going to pick up what you look like. So if you think that your hair looks bad...
Sometimes things look worse on camera.
Yes, then yes, what you're looking at is your hair. And if you think that that's bad, then that's bad. I did not think that's bad, but it was such a weird position because I want to be honest.
Because he doesn't ever think anything looks bad. Only sometimes when I don't wash my hair for like a week.
No, I've been doing better. I've been trying to do better at being honest and saying in a loving way, hey,
you
I
ugly?
don't like that. Or
UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. You ugly. No, he's never said that. He's not gonna call me ugly, but you know what I mean. Okay, come on now. Like a part of Hollywood is like, you know, like you gotta look the part, and I don't typically look the part because I'm usually in sweats and stuff.
Hey, that's not true,
babe. It is true.
No, it is true though that
people tell me I need to care more. That's a problem.
Including us. I think, we've come to the conclusion that
we need to care more.
If you guys have tuned into the first 2 episodes.
I was in my pajamas.
YouTube. We were like, okay, we gotta do something about this.
We need a makeover.
So if you're out there and you give actors makeovers, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but she did a great audition. We're going to send it out and we'll see.
And now I realize that I have frizzy hair. Because that's what happens when you have naturally wavy hair, and then the heat of heat wave just kicks your ass up and down. And I'm walking from my car. Literally, I walked from my car to my friend's place to shoot this thing, and I instantly felt like I was on fire. Like I was so hot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my bangs are sticking to my face. Oh my gosh, my tinted sunscreen is melting off my face. I should have worn more makeup because I don't really wear makeup. Anyway.
You don't need makeup.
that's not what the camera says.
That brings me back to a thought that I had about the film. You know, you're talking about the heat and you everything's sweating off of you, and you know your hair's going crazy, and
you're not boring. This is just
what?
I'm not yawning at you. I'm just tired. It's just hot.
No worries.
But you're saying,
if you're
just in case you're watching, I'm yawning a lot, guys.
It's not that she thinks I'm boring. It's that she's tired, and that's okay. You can be tired.
I'm not. It's just hot.
It is so hot, and the heat makes you more tired. But that brings me back to the film.
The heat.
What's so funny about making a movie is you're often making it for either a time period or a time of the year, and you're in wardrobe that represents that.
Oh Lord!
But if the location that you shoot in is opposite of what you're going for, it makes for a difficult shoot. I.e., here's the example. If you are in a jacket, a full-on jacket, zipped all the way up, and you're in a convenience store that the owner doesn't run the air because he's a penny pincher.
Was that part of the storyline, or was that just
not part of the storyline? This dude was a hustler. We're going to talk about the store owner in a second.
Please, I would not be dry. First of all, you probably can't have the air because of sound. Because he probably has an old ass like air, no. And two, I'm not paying so that people can be running my air. Y'all can shut it off.
You would think that would be in the fee, but anyway, so we get in there and we walk in, and there was a production in that market right before we got there. So literally they were packing up and leaving when we were coming in to unload. And I was like, this dude's a hustler. We're talking in a second about another side hustle he's got going on. But so we get in, we walk in, and it was like a wall of heat, right? Outside felt good because it was at night. You know, it started to cool off. But then you walk in and it's like an oven. Literally, it was so hot. And our characters, me and the other lead, we had full-on jackets zipped all the way up. He had a lab coat.
You had a ski mask on.
We had ski masks because our characters are robbing something. I'm not going to give it away because I want you to watch.
But you just said where you were.
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to, you need to rein in the storyline a little bit.
I need to think this one through before just jumping in. But watch it anyways. Thank you. Anyways, so we're in these jackets, and we're rushing through, right? We're robbing. So we're like, running through the aisles. We find a hostage, and it's really exciting, but it gets really hot. And so what does that do? We start sweating, right? What does the makeup artist have to do? They have to apply more and more makeup to keep us from looking like we're sweating, because technically it's not in the summer, and we're not wearing jackets in the summer, And that, to me, has always been a fascinating part of filmmaking, is that a movie that looks like it's in winter, right, may not be at all. They may be burning up, and they have to make sure that the actors look like they're cold as, the middle of the winter. I think that's amazing. Yep. That's a small detail that gets overlooked a lot, is when you watch a movie, pay attention to it. Look and see how the actors are dressed and stuff. Someone made that decision. And that's so cool to me. That's going back to, the collaborative art. It's like someone is literally not sleeping over whether or not you should wear a red or a blue shirt. Like, someone's job is to make sure that you look as good as you can on screen. And that's such a beautiful thing that I think is unique in the world of film.
I guess our job is to make sure that we look awesome in person every day.
And that brings us back to the audition, because that truly is the job of an actor, going to an audition. When you get to set,
unless your best self is not put together.
Yeah.
And then there's that, which that's also you got to know your essence, I guess, Like, I always joke, I don't sell Lexus people. I sell Hondas and Fords.
You're talking about commercials?
Yes. Like, my market is not high-end luxury.
I'm going to tell you straight up, baby. I would buy a Honda or a Ford from you.
Yeah, I know.
I would do it all day long.
Great. That's what I sell. I don't sell Audis. I don't sell Mercedes. I sell Hondas. I'm the Honda, happy salesperson. I'm the Best Buy. Welcome to Best Buy. How can I help you? That's me. There's another
bug. I don't know if you guys can.
get out of here.
Oh
So
my gosh,
it's
honey,
just
they're everywhere.
what? Why?
We're gonna have to. Let me shut this door.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna.
I'm gonna shut this
you guys,
door. You tell them a story about your previous Honda jobs.
No, I've done a lot of Honda spots, and basically, maybe this is a sign that we're supposed to move. Yeah. So all I'm saying is, listen, yes, we can all do everything, but listen, I know what my wheelhouse is. I sell Hondas, I sell Dunkin' Donuts, I sell Fords, I sell I'm like the girl at the bank that's helping out. Like it's just so I need to look good, but I don't need to look too good. So basically that's kind of it. But I guess maybe if I looked better, maybe I could sell you an Audi.
And that's honestly that's a cool thought and a little nugget of knowledge for actors out there. Is it's important to know your essence. You come into Hollywood and you're like, I can do any role. If you want me to be,
like how I was gonna be a model, but I'm like 5 feet tall. Really?
Well, I still think you could be, but we're in the world of Instagram models. It's possible, babe.
Yeah, that's no, thank you. I mean, no offense, but that's not. No, I don't. No, I'm not trying to do all that. It's funny because I would get these headshots. When I first started out, I spent like $1,300. So, oh my God, here's another one. Here's another story. So, I met this guy through probably somebody that I shot the Man Show with. So they were like, hey, he's a great headshot photographer. So I came all the way to downtown LA to shoot headshots with this guy who basically, I think he must have had a hair and makeup chick there, but he styled everything. And so this guy was a trip because he shot all these crazy pictures. Like half of them I was in like clothes that looked like I was like posing in front of a shower curtain with this like tiny top and like hair straightened out. My hair was blonde and it was like in the wind. And he shot a lot of girls for Playboy. And he was like, oh, you should go. Like, here's somebody's number. And honestly, I was like, why would I do that? Because, listen, I would not, for what it's worth, I wouldn't do that. Just because it's like, no, that's not my thing. But it's funny because he said to me, what did he say? He said, you have such a pretty face, but your body not so much. Like what? Literally he said that. And I was like, what am I supposed to even say to that? Because I was so small. And so he like photoshopped these pictures, or he sent me these pictures. And the way that he shot them make me look like Amazonian. Like I was some Amazonian, like just statuesque, like super, like I was like, oh, my waist looks smaller, my legs look slightly thinner and longer. How? Wow. He must be like a genius photographer. Yeah. I would never be able to use these pictures for anything ever in my life. Like, I don't even know. No, I just couldn't. The one headshot that I used was like with a super low cut shirt and my hair like super done up. And I got some agents through that. But when I would take meetings or go to auditions, literally every single person was like, oh my God, you're so small. I thought you were like way taller. I'm like, no, I don't know how you thought that.
Did these photos confuse you?
Yeah, literally people were like, you look like you would be taller from your picture.
But that honestly solidifies that point that you should be aiming for as an actor, figuring out who you are. Like whenever you walk into a room and your friends see you, there's an essence that you give off, and you want to fight it. As coming from someone, an actor,
and some people would fight it,
who has fought it. Like generally in my life, I would be told that I'm funny. I used to be severely overweight. So
yeah, you guys didn't know that Preston was almost 90 pounds heavier.
I was 90 pounds heavier, and I lost a lot of weight, and am healthier now, but not where I want to be. I was even in better shape a few years ago, so I'm trying to get back to that. But like, what's so weird and interesting about the journey of an actor is when someone would tell me I was funny, they meant it as a compliment, right? They were like, "Hey, you're really funny." I saw that as I'm really fat and I don't feel comfortable in my skin, and I don't like the way that I look. So when they would say funny, I would see it as like an insult.
Well, yeah.
Which was work that I had to do. They didn't mean it as an insult, but that's just how I felt about it.
No, for sure. But I also think that it's also kind of like, listen, there's so much pressure. I guess it's so interesting, like what this conversation is becoming, but there's just so much pressure that has always been there, right? Whether it's like, you're too skinny, you're not tall enough, you're not light enough, you're not brown enough. Like for me, like, it's like, oh my God, you're Latina, but you have green eyes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess Latinas don't have light eyes. I literally had agents ask me to go get brown contacts. And I did. It's so stupid. I mean, now we're in a different time.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, I think here's the thing. If you feel like you need to change or evolve as a human being, I think that should be something that you do because you want to.
100%.
Not because you think you have to.
Right.
So the fact that, like, you didn't want to be a Chris Farley.
Right.
And
which he's brilliant.
But that, like, let's just say, like, he's a specific type of actor, right? And so I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And I think then you have to kind of be true. Like, like I have some friends that, like, I'm more comfortable in, like, kind of being cute and, like, I don't even know what this word is, but to do this. I don't know what that word is.
If you're listening to us, you can pop on over to her YouTube to see what she's doing.
So, and the thing is, it's like, that's kind of my comfort zone. But then I also have the side of me that's very, like kind of like a smart ass and a little bit, like, cynical. Mm-hmm. But I can also be, like, the best friend. But I have friends that are like, girl, if you just, like, like, wore heels and tighter jeans and, like, a push-up bra, like, you could be that hot girl, because, girl, you hot. And it's like, yeah. But, like, I did that when I first started, and I didn't feel like it was my authentic self.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I tried to be that. Like, I had photographers would be like, oh my God, you're like a young Angelina Jolie. You're like an ingenue Sophia Loren. Yes, darling, yes. And it's like, I kind of bought into that. And then it wasn't until I matured into, like, my authentic self.
Right.
And I think that when you are and the changes that I've done, whether it was cut my hair or dye my hair or whatever,
or embraced the quirky, the
quirky, quote unquote, or whatever the frick. I don't know.
The move you're doing.
The little, like, spazzy, whatever. I think that it's because I've wanted to. So, like,
right. So going back to the taking your funny as an insult, it's like, I had to realize as a person that for me to see it that way was unhealthy as a person, not as an actor. You know what I mean? It was completely separate from who I was. And what it was forcing me as an actor to do is to push against what came naturally to me. What came naturally was to make people laugh or to inhabit the role that kind of took people by surprise kind of deal. And what I would do is I would try to be like, well, I don't want to do that because,
like, I'm going to be Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Which, hey, that's still a possibility, but I don't have to be Tom Cruise. I can be Preston. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but sometimes you're just like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but I would
you're not gonna lean in.
Yeah, and being real with you guys, that's the point. Like, I would want to look for the roles of something that I was not, because I was feeling like, as a person, not confident in who I was. And as I started working on that, as I realized that, realizing that in therapy was awesome, because now I can appreciate when someone says you're funny. I'm like, oh, that's actually hard to do. Not everyone can get that compliment. And it's, comedy is often seen as a really difficult thing. So it's like, something that I was pushing against, I was like, oh, why am I pushing against it so hard?
You're going against the grain. You were going against the grain.
Is going against the grain because of how I felt as a person. So I didn't realize when I got into this whole acting thing how it's actually, as the artist, you have to go on a personal journey. And when you recognize, I think, you said it best whenever you kind of, that character that you described in
my body language.
In your body language. When you embrace that, you started working more.
Yeah, because it's like I wasn't trying to be like somebody else. Because really, all you can do is bring yourself to the table.
Right.
And I've had so many acting coaches, and some of the really good ones I've always left like with like little tidbits. And I have an acting coach that I studied with. His name is Ron Burroughs at Art of Acting Studio. He traveled with Stella Adler, like all over the world, and he's so great. I love him so much. We've become friends, and he was at when we eloped at our party. He's wonderful. And so one of the things that I remember that he said was he worked a lot with Deborah Aquila, which is a big casting director.
Okay.
And he had said that, he would talk to her a lot about actors. And it's like when you have a character breakdown of a character, so it's like Latina or ethnically ambiguous, 20 to 30 or 25 to 35, this, that, like whatever the breakdown is. And if you don't come in and make strong choices that are authentic to yourself, if you're coming to LA and your job is to blend in and be like everybody else, you're basically, not just that, but you're in the room and really they're just going to be like, you're not bringing your authentic self to your work, to your audition, to your experiences, your point of view, obviously within the realm of like script analysis and what the writer has given you and how you take that information. But he said, like, if you have 20 girls that are coming in and they're all kind of just trying to give them what they want and they're all trying to be the same, it's just eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
Who was the most, not like who stood out the most.
Right.
And I think that that's the hardest thing. I think you spend so much of your time trying to be like, what do they want?
Yeah.
And it's just like, instead of being like, this is what I'm going to bring, which I love, that's what I love about, that is part of like the journey of discovering yourself as an actor. And I think part of that is living. Part of it sometimes is going to therapy.
Yeah. And
dealing with your own issues so that you're not losing your shit on people because they're saying this to you and it's wrecking your day.
Right. They're saying a compliment to you or telling you the truth and you're like bummed by it because the truth can be hard, like especially if you want to be a Tom Cruise and you're a Chris Farley. Like Chris Farley was brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant and did great things. And it's like, so you can be brilliant and do great things as an artist as who you are. And I think about it, if you're not an actor and none of this makes sense, but you're interested in film, think about the person that you love, your friends, your family. Think about those people and what makes them them. Like, it's the interesting way they see life. It's the way that they handle conflict. It's the fact that they love change or hate change, or it's their laugh, or, it's the thing that makes them is all of, like, you can quantify it if you think about it.
Well, that's the hope. I think that, as a culture and as a society, I think that that's what I hope to see more instead of like division.
100%.
Like between even like outside of the industry, just in general.
Just, yeah,
I think
social. So
you're not just around people that are just like you.
Right.
Like you should be around people that you don't 100% agree with for everything. And the thing is, like you just said, it's like, I think we're losing the art of appreciating people for the good and the bad. I mean, obviously within boundaries, you don't want to like be in a toxic relationship with some a-hole that's like treating you like crap. And you're like, well, I got to embrace his shittiness and I'm going to love him anyway. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I think that even for ourselves, I think part of what we bring as artists and storytellers is our unique self.
100%.
And I think that instead of judging it and being like, oh my gosh, I'm so dramatic all the time. I mean, in social situations, check yourself.
Yeah.
You can't be like a jerk to everybody. But I think that in that, there is something about like, like my mom is crazy, but I love her.
Right.
She's my mom. She's nuts. Like my mom is like the life of the party. She's 70 years old. She wears tight pants and tight shirts and cut out shoulders and like will not leave the house without any makeup on. And she's like, I'm so cute. I'm so cute. And I'm just like, eye roll. You're crazy. Oh my gosh, she's nuts. But honestly, the thing that people love about her is that.
Right.
And I think that if we did more of that as actors,
100%, it would come through.
like, or just at least stop judging ourselves so hard.
Right. It's already I keep saying role because I use that term a lot, but it's a job where everyone's judging it because that's the nature of it. If you go to an audition, you have to be judged. Like,
Yeah.
that's part of it. Like, it's okay to be judged in certain circumstances, but if that becomes the norm where you're judging yourself, where you're going,
Oh my gosh.
you know, like, I shouldn't be this, or I should have done that, or I wish I didn't look like this, or I wish, you know, this, that, or the other, then you, like, if your goal is to be a great actor, then you're going to miss out on that goal because of the judgment that you're placing on yourself. For instance, the moment that I started embracing comedy is the moment that I started working more.
Yeah.
When I started embracing comedy is when I got my first agent.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I remember telling you, like, you're hilarious. Like, and I get that. It's like labels have connotations sometimes that are attached to them that can be traumatizing depending on, I don't know, things we've suppressed and things that we haven't, like, made peace with, or, you know, I don't know.
Right.
It's so interesting because when you think about it, it's kind of like, there's a lot of, like, soul searching that should happen and evolving. It's like, you know, I feel like I'm tapping more as a person. I think once I had Judah, my I don't give a crap factor, like, went through the roof.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, even just with people that I was always trying to people please, like in friendships, I'm just like, hey, you know what? Like, if you don't have time, I don't have time.
Right.
Like, before I'd be like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I got to text her 5 times. Oh my gosh. Like, and it's like, I don't have the time. I don't have the mental, like the mental wherewithal to be pussyfooting around with people. It's like, I'm more direct, I'm more to the point, and sometimes people might not like that, right? Because they know me as being, like, really kind of tiptoey and kind of being like, did you take that okay? Like, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that. What I meant was, and it's like, I'm not mean, I'm just more direct.
Right.
And so I think that in my work, like, even in this audition I had today, to tap into, it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Great. This is what we're doing. This is what this character's doing. Like, I don't have time to second guess every little thing.
Right.
So it's kind of freeing and liberating, and
then you can build on it. It's like something that I realized is, like, a lot of the people that I look up to that were comedic actors have also been able to branch out into dramatic or action roles. Steve Carell.
Melissa McCarthy.
Like, you don't have to be defined by your essence. Actors, we all believe that we can play anything and do anything, and the truth is probably not right away. But if we're being honest with ourselves, there's a lot of work that has to go from your essence to the person who's completely opposite of you, like a Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, the amount of work that guy does on his characters is crazy. Mm-hmm. You're unable to understand unless you're him, right? Yeah. But when you start to embrace your essence I love this. This is a perfect way to usher the end of the show in. But when you consider the fact that it is a business, that show business means that your skill has to make you or people money in order for you to do it. You think about it like this. Capitalize on the thing that makes you you. Capitalize on the thing that is special about you. Play to your strengths. Don't go and try to fix all of your weaknesses. Do what comes natural, and then as you build your career, as you get the jobs, you can
stretch yourself.
You can stretch, you can build, you can add that skill. If you don't want to be a director out the gate, don't try to do a director job. Don't take a director job. Be an actor, and then eventually, when you have the capacity, add that additional thing. I wish if I were younger and jumping into this game, this is what I would tell myself years ago. Instead of focusing on 10 different things that I think I'm good at and doing 10% of my energy on all those things, by the time I come back to thing 1, it's diminishing. I haven't made any progress. If I could have spent 100% of my energy on one thing and that was being an actor of comedy, then I could have made the progress that I'm making now, and then eventually added that action film.
But
added
honestly,
that theater.
it could even be like just being a good actor, because
100%.
in that it's like you're not just going to go necessarily study comedy. I mean, you can, but I think in that it's like, I think even just like maybe not, you know what, it's all good, because the way I see it, it's like, yes, I think that you have a point. Like I wish I would have spent more time, like really focused on one or two things at the top and just going gung-ho than being spread too thin. But I think in that, it's like you've learned. There are things that you've
100%.
learned along the way. Like, you know, when you've created your own content, you've known how to light it, you've known how to edit it, you've known, and it's made you resourceful, and it's made you be able to put stuff out there that, oh my God, what is that?
I'm going to go kill that. Continue on that.
Guys, I don't know what's happening. We went to go look at an apartment today. I think this is a freaking sign that we need to move, because we never have bugs, and now there's a freaking bug on the floor, and I'm about to, like, what is happening?
That's a bug.
What was it? Was it one of those pincher bugs?
Yeah.
Where the heck it's this freaking heat. You
it's
guys,
the
it's
heat.
this freaking heat.
It's the heat. If you're on YouTube now, you can see our bug tool.
I can't.
Unreal.
I think I don't have anything else to say.
But babe, that was a perfect way to end it. And I think that's what this show is about. This episode, be yourself. Really dig down. If you're an actor, if you're an artist out there, if you're a cinematographer out there.
Hey, if you're freaking a teacher, if you're a nurse, if you are a stay-at-home mom, if you are a stay-at-home dad, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
focus on your strengths.
Like, who are you? And like, you know, like embrace it, like shed those things that are like not the best things, or, you know, like work them through, and really focus on the good, and, you know that you're going to constantly evolve, and that's part of life. If you're not evolving, I don't know what to tell you, man.
If you're not growing, you're slowing. Is that
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. Another podcast.
Another episode.
Another one in the can. Thank you guys for following us.
Thanks for dealing with us while we sit here and melt in our apartment and hearing us complain about the heat.
That's right. And if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, I want to be making movies, I want to be doing this thing, you're not alone. We're there with you.
Yeah, and don't forget to, if you want to get a sneak peek at some of these first projects, subscribe, or I don't know if you subscribe, but check out our Patreon and be a member and help support our show, and that helps keep us going, and help to be able to spread out some of this work so that my baby daddy don't have to kill himself.
Right. Well, thank you guys again for tuning in, and like she said, we'll be posting that on Patreon. Enjoy the rest of your week, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in next week where we have another exciting interview. We're going to be interviewing the talented and wonderful Sofia Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great interview, a great chat. Can't wait for you guys to
check it out.
Until next time.
Peace.